Indian Prime Minister Modi speaking in Houston at this moment, just after President Trump delivered his own remarks about U.S.-Indian relations at that same event. Welcome to America's News Headquarters from Washington. I'm Laura Engel.
Nice to be with you. Nice to be with you at home. Not a lot of news made in this event. There's some big news made before it. President Trump and the Prime Minister appeared in lockstep during their speeches, both celebrating the bond between the two countries, and President Trump taking some time to celebrate his first term in office as well. Kevin Cork there as the event continues. You and I were talking on email, my friend. It felt like a campaign speech with a little Indian-American relations mixed on top.
Yeah, I think you're on the money, and I can tell the folks at home that you and I talk about things. We talk about film, we talk about news, we talk about sports. When you start asking about the speech itself, I know that you're dialed in. And I know you guys are working at this hour, but I must say, in listening to the president, I was really, quite frankly, struck by how much this was sort of like a campaign rally to a degree. But what was also interesting, I think, was the true bond between the two leaders. I mean, you could almost sense that there was a deep camaraderie there between the two men. And I watch the president all the time, whether he's on the road in Europe or we go to Asia. There's something special about the relationship between these two men. Now, you also mentioned that the president talked a great deal about the economic ties between our two countries, the security ties between the U.S. and India. And I thought very interesting, I want you to listen to this soundbite that we have. The president talked about the importance of border security as well. Take a listen.
Today we honor all of the brave American and Indian military service members who work together to safeguard our freedom. We stand proudly in defense of liberty, and we are committed to protecting innocent civilians from the threat of radical Islamic terrorism.
Border security through the prism of terrorism. He talked about that not just here in Texas, he talked about the necessity of fighting radical Islamic terrorism, and that is a border issue for the folks in India because, of course, they share a border with Pakistan. And the suggestion among some Indians has been that that's where a majority of the terror has come from. And so he really hit to all fields in making that comment. I should also add this. The president made note of the fact that an NBA game is going to be played. I heard you guys talking about it over in Mumbai, and that maybe he'd like to go. All I can say about that, guys, is who wouldn't?
Kevin, you've covered a lot of White Houses, and we've seen these relationships develop between an American president and a foreign leader. If you think about President Obama and Justin Trudeau, both young generational change kind of leaders who developed a friendship based on that. Tony Blair, George W. Bush, etc. But there were common issues and bonds that brought both of them together. What brings together Prime Minister and Modi and President Trump in the way you described?
Great question. I think they're both transformational. There's sort of in politics, usually it's transactional, right? Hey, we give you this stuff and we get your votes in return, or we perform this service, or our politics will make your life better and therefore you back us or our. There's a bit of a transformational relationship between the two men because they are both leaders of their country, but they came in at a specific time where the country was looking for something different. That seems to be the bond, but that as well as they're gentlemen of a certain age. I think they have a lot of experience, and I think they share that.
And well, you did pick up an unusual affection between both of them as we talked. It is rare to hear two foreign leaders as effusive in their praise of each other as these two were. There, I'll listen to the rest of the Prime Minister's speech and bring us up to date if there's any news made. We appreciate it, sir. Talk to you soon.
You bet. Take care.
And for more on this, we want to get reaction from California Congressman and member of the House Judiciary Committee, Tom McClintock. Thank you for being with us, sir. We want to get to the situation, the story of the whistleblower with the Ukraine story. But since you were just listening in to this rally over in Houston, I want to get your response to what you heard and what you.
Well, two observations. One is the emphasis the president put on the expanding economy. Well, there's a reason for that. It's because of his policies of rolling back the tax and regulatory burdens that were absolutely us. And the principal beneficiaries of this remarkable economic expansion have been the middle and working classes, including a lot of immigrant families. Other observation, and you saw the reaction from the audience, was his strong position against illegal immigration. These are immigrants who obeyed all of our laws, who waited patiently in line, everything our country asked of them, because they fell in love with the American ideal, and they came here so that they could become Americans, adopt a common language, a common culture, and raise their children as Americans. And the people I have found who are the angriest about illegal immigration are those legal immigrants who obeyed our laws and are watching millions of people try to cut in line in front of them.
You know, and he said that in his speech to the 50,000 in attendance, that if reelected and moving forward, he plans on taking care of our Indian American citizens before taking care of any illegal immigrants. So
yeah, the left loves to confuse legal and illegal immigration, and they're polar opposites.
Right. Let's move forward to the whistleblower story that we've been reporting on all weekend. I want to get your take on that. You know, we just simply don't have all the facts on this as of today. The transcript of the call in question and the complaint haven't been released.